Welcome to The Mix, your blend of cultural affairs. I'm Rob Simmelcare. On today's show, a conversation with actor and Oscar winner Jon Voight. Some of Voight's career highlights, if you don't know him already, are the iconic film Coming Home, about the way that soldiers were treated on their return home from war, and the role of a male hustler in Midnight Cowboy. He played the heart-tugging ex-boxer in The Champ, as well as an urban businessman caught up in local Georgian delights in Deliverance, and of course has appeared in many other films, including U-Turn, John Paul II, and now his latest venture, September Dawn, a film based on the historical events that occurred in the fall of 1857. We will be chatting. My pleasure to chat with Mr. Voight in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at the film's trailer.
I am the voice of God, and anyone who doesn't like it will be hewn down.
On September 11th, 1857, in an unspoiled valley of the Utah Territory, and in the name of God, 120 men, women, and children were savagely murdered. Who ordered the massacre and why has been hidden in a cloak of secrecy and conspiracy, and the reputation of one of this nation's mightiest religious figures has been preserved and protected until now.
Mormons, do your duty!
Jehovah created me to be your God on earth.
These people are different. I find them interesting.
We have a duty to perform. It's a duty we owe to God.
Tell me what's happening.
Too late for everybody. It started. It's too late.
Do you think he's God on earth?
They're not innocent.
We take a solemn oath to never discuss this, even among ourselves.
Wow, and it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Jon Voight here to our studio. Thanks for being here.
Nice to be here with you.
So, very interesting topic that this film is on, and this is something that a lot of people have never heard of. Explain what happened on September 11th, 1957.
Well, on September 11th, 150 years ago this year, a wagon train of Christians was attacked by a group of Mormons, and they massacred at least 120 people in cold blood. And it's an event that I didn't know anything about either, and I know a little bit about American history, but then I found that it was a very well documented part of our history, and very chilling, very scary, and then the script came forth to me, and I saw the relevance to today, to what's happening today with the Islamic fanatics calling for the destruction of America, destruction of all democracy, and I thought this is a very important thing to expose the anatomy of how fanatics can use a religion to justify murder.
So you play, your role in this movie is that of a bishop, Bishop
Yeah.
Samuelson, who
Right.
is a Mormon bishop in the area when this group comes through on their
Right.
way to California.
Yeah, and my role is an amalgam of several different characters from that time, and it's a very clever and very good way of getting to some of the history, because my character was present at the death of Joseph Smith and his brother Hiram, and so it carries you through all the ingredients that you need to know how this massacre occurred. Terrence Stamp extraordinarily plays Brigham Young, and all the words that he says, every single word was said by Brigham Young in the months around the massacre.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Is there's a lot of controversy. This is something that happened many, many years ago, 150 years ago now. But there has been over the year a lot of controversy as to what exactly was the role of Brigham Young. Did he order this killing? Was he complicit in this somehow?
Yeah.
Having done the research and read the script and obviously been involved in this, where do you come out on this?
Well, I think that I come out where the film comes out, and I think it was an autocracy unlike any other, really, especially at that time in the history of the Mormon Church, and he knew about everything. So it would be impossible for him not to have known about this event, which was very carefully prepared for over, quite a long time. I recommend anybody who wants to really know about this, as I say, it's very well documented, so go take a look at the Confession of John D. Lee, for instance. It was about 26 pages or whatever, easy to read. And it's an extraordinary document because this was the fellow who was executed as responsible for this massacre. And his testimony is very important. And there are several other people that wrote at that time about it. There's several books, a book called The Blood of the Prophets by Will Bagley. And so take a look.
In what you've read, what was the motive? Why did they do this?
Well, there were many things going on at that time, and they were all kind of explained in the piece. There was a certain paranoia, there was a certain revenge, emotion that was sweeping
from the death
the Mormon
of Joseph Smith, which they felt these people were responsible for.
And being, run out of Missouri. And there were a lot of other elements too. There were aspects of justification for, blood atonement. There was this concept of blood atonement, which is explored in the script. It's very, very interesting. The film, I think, it's very stunning. Once you start it, it's very, very hard to put it down, to look away. But it's something that must be seen, must be digested, so that we can learn the lessons of history. We must shed the light of truth on every chapter of history. Just as films like Schindler's List or Rosewood, one would think that the people who made those films would be trying to expose us to these moments so that we can learn our lessons and prevent future Holocausts.
And I didn't realize until we looked at the trailer that this event took place on September 11th that year.
September 11th,
so,
isn't that amazing? It's ironic, so ironic.
It is indeed.
But it does reflect what's happening today. We have a serious situation on our hands, and it's very good that we know everything about it. And when I was doing the film, I saw so many parallels, frightening parallels. I mean, it caught me in many ways. The similarity, the reasons, the justification, the feeling of victimization or something like that, using all this stuff, and then the propaganda. So.
Yeah.